Getting new supplies and colored pencils can be really fun, but it can also be a big barrier to get started or to getting started with the right energy. So in this class, I keep it really simple. All you need is something like Crayolas. I'm going to do all of the demos in this course with regular, super affordable Crayola pencils, the ones in the yellow box. You can get them almost anywhere. I do recommend getting as many colors as you can, no matter what brand. There's just more room for expression. You'll be glad you did later, so try to get as many as 100 or 120 pencils if you can. If you can't, it's okay, start with what you have. Even if you only have 12 or 24 or even just one colored pencil, you can still do this class and get started learning. You can use most brands of colored pencils and even crayons to go through the exercises in this course. There may be some super cheap pencils that won't work very well, but you can start with whatever you have and just see what happens. I'm using Crayolas in all of these demos because I really want you to see that it's the simple, repeatable, learnable techniques that allow me to do this and to create things that look awesome. It's not the fancy materials. That said, I do own and enjoy a couple of the more expensive brands of artist quality pencils. I really like the depth of shadow and super extra rich dark colors that I can get with brands like Prismacolor, Premier, and Polychromos, to name the ones that I own and have used. But don't feel pressured to start with more expensive brand if you don't have the funds right now. Crayolas are an affordable and easy place to start, but there are many other brands. Here are just a couple that I have not tried, but I know that other people like and do great stuff with. So you've got to keep in mind that the pencils you'll enjoy using will depend on your style and preference, not the price or someone else's preference. I've definitely heard from people who have expensive pencils on their shelves that never get used. So don't get hung up on this. Do a little research, make a choice for now, and you can always get more. And get ready for the fun part, to use them. So the supplies list: pencils, get started with what you have. Pencil sharpener, this is important for any brand of pencil because once your pencil gets dull enough, it's not fun anymore. So get a good sharpener that works for your pencils. Paper and printouts of the course pages. If you don't have a printer, you can really do these exercises in any coloring book or on any piece of paper if you want to draw some shapes yourself. Speaking of paper, regular cheap printer paper is fine to start, totally fine. Even better if you're on a budget or you already have some regular paper that's ready to go. In these demos, I'm probably going to use a really basic cardstock, like a 65-pound cardstock. It's heavy, so it'll be good for the demos, but it does get really thick if you're going to put a lot of pages in a binder, so that's something to consider with cardstock. Another option is called a 32-pound. Usually it's a smooth, thicker paper that's not as thick as cardstock, but it's really nice to color on. Again, don't get hung up here. Get started with what you have or just choose something to start. And once you're ready for more, you'll develop a preference and fabulous new papers will make their way into your life. So gather your supplies, pencils, sharpener, a white eraser is optional, and paper. Cool. Got all your supplies ready? How about making a swatch chart? If you haven't done this yet with your pencils, I really suggest you do. It's a simple exercise. It takes a little bit of time at first, but it's so valuable for a couple of reasons. First, it makes picking pencil colors and getting started so much easier because you've got a little map. You're not feeling lost in a huge array of colors and not knowing which color is which or how they'll look once they're on the paper. And doing swatches, number 2, is a low pressure, sneaky opportunity to practice using varying pencil pressure from heavy to light 100 times if you've got 100 pencils. And the repetition and unconscious flow of easy practice will get you ready to take things to the next level in the next lesson. You can find templates to make swatches, but I kind of recommend not using them and just get a blank piece of paper. Cheap white paper is fine. Start with the firmest pressure with the pencil and kind of just start scribbling. Then press lighter and color and scribble as lightly as you can on the other end of your swatch. And don't take too much time or get hung up with this. This is loose. It is literally scribbling. You really want to let yourself kind of scribble here. If you're doing it too perfectly, you're doing it wrong. So let your hands move freely. The point is to quickly show what each pencil color looks like at its darkest with full pressure, and then also what it looks like when you color really, really lightly out to white. Then write the name of each pencil next to the swatch for future reference and continue until you have all the colors done. This is a great thing to do while watching a favorite movie or listening to a podcast or an audiobook. So your assignment for this lesson is to make a swatch chart. It'll come in handy as you go along, and it's good practice. Pretty fun, right? Let's move on to the next lesson, and it's a good one because it's all about magic.